Hello, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today to discuss the implementation of a new literacy program for our elementary school. Presenting to you today will be Abby Overton, our ESOL teacher, Sarah Mason, the MTSS specialist, and myself, Kayla Takatsuta, the school's new literacy specialist and Title I teacher. In addition to the three of us presenting to you today, our literacy team will also include a teacher representative from the lower, middle, and upper grade levels, a special education teacher, and our elementary school principal. We feel that having the principal as a team member will help provide administrative support, and her confidence in our team and our motive for change will help the team members and other staff be more likely to accept the change and to help implement it. For being a part of our literacy team during this 3-year implementation process, we will offer a $3,500 stipend per year for each grade level teacher and specialist teachers. For further expenditures, please refer to the personnel budget section on the sheet we have provided you.
The purpose for this comprehensive literacy plan was due to our changing educational profile of our elementary school. In recent years, we've seen a rapid increase of English learners in our classrooms. These students are coming from the Slavic nations and the Hispanic countries, and we are not prepared instructionally for the needs of these students. We've also noticed an ineffective use of our instructional time and out-of-date instructional practices. We feel that if our students are best to be successful, we need to research and implement current evidence-based instructional practices. As far as our state test scores, we are currently in the acceptable range and are not in needs of improvement yet. However, we would like to implement new practices so that our students' test scores get better and we don't end up needing to go into a needs improvement state. As a literacy team, we have come up with a vision statement that reflects our comprehensive literacy plan. Our vision statement is that our literacy program prepares students to critically think and respond to all types of literature in the world around them. Through ongoing professional development and collaboration, our staff engages in a culture that promotes lifelong learning. We use evidence-based instruction that is differentiated to meet the needs of the diverse learners in our school, helping them become literate citizens.
As the new literacy specialist, I'd like to take a minute to touch on the roles I will be taking on as both supervisor and coach during the implementation period. As literacy specialist, I will serve as chair for literacy team, and I will explore multiple components of this comprehensive literacy plan, specifically the adoption of instructional procedures, curriculum adoption, and implementation. As coach, I will be a professional resource for the educators in the building. I will provide one-to-one or small group coaching with educators in the building to implement these evidence-based instructional strategies. Before jumping into an action plan for a new literacy program, a literacy needs assessment survey was distributed to all staff. The survey was designed to collect data in the areas of foundational knowledge, instructional knowledge, professional development preparation, and assessment knowledge. The survey results identified a need for implementing new instruction and classroom materials that will meet the needs of our diverse student population, and a need for collecting new resources in order to implement up-to-date teaching strategies that will enhance teachers' literacy plans to meet the needs of their diverse learners. Possible directions we would like to take to implement these changes include developing a new literacy program while also planning professional development meetings around enhancing our staff's understanding for evidence-based literacy instruction, including differentiated instruction for our EL, RTI, MTSS, and other diverse student groups. We will also begin searching for curriculum that meets these needs. At this time, I will let Abby talk to you more about our implementation process by providing you with a look at our 3-year timeline.
This is an abbreviated version of our implementation grids that you can find on page 14 through 18 of our comprehensive literacy plan. During our first year, year 1, we are looking to conduct our needs assessment, conduct professional development surrounding guided reading in English language learners, and then also look into piloting 2 programs during our year. During year 2, we will ask for 2 volunteers from each grade level to pilot 2 new programs, and the literacy team will review student data to determine which program seems to be benefiting our students more. Our literacy specialists will also provide professional development on Tier 1 and Tier 2 instructional strategies for our staff, and our teachers will be trained to use the Universal Screener in QRI-6. During year 3, our teachers will be trained in the program that was adopted the previous year. Our literacy team will continue to work with staff on the pieces of that program and to look at student data to determine how the students are benefiting from the program. The literacy specialists will also provide training on how to incorporate Tier 1 and Tier 2 strategies with the new literacy program. At the end of year 3, we'll be asking for staff input to further plan our professional development needs. Part of our comprehensive literacy plan is to create a literate classroom environment. Below is a sample map of what a student classroom might look like. We were focusing on creating areas for whole group and small group collaboration, as well as individual time to work and to read. As you will note, there are several different areas in the classrooms that students can explore to enhance their learning to become literate citizens.
As we have reflected on our classroom environment, you have heard some of the classroom materials needed to support student learning. I am here to share with you a few of the resources that we would like to use throughout our school. Based on the needs assessment, we found that many of our teachers would like to use current instructional strategies in their literacy programs. One of those strategies is the use of guided reading. As part of guided reading, teachers and students need access to books that are just the right fit for student independent and instructional levels. The Fountas and Pinnell Guided Reading Program fits that need. Within the program, it provides teachers with lesson guides and yet allows for flexibility that help teachers conduct lessons with small groups of students based on their instructional levels. Another change that our district has been seeing is the influx of English learners. With this influx in learners, it is important to provide our teachers with resources to meet the needs of English learners. The National Geographic EL program will support teachers in this type of instruction. We will also be providing our teachers with some free educational websites to enhance further learning of their EL students. One major resource that is needed, as determined by the needs assessment, is the new literacy curriculum. To provide consistency across the grade levels, it is important for all our teachers to be guided in similar literacy goals. With the new curriculum, all our teachers will be teaching on the same goals and strategies at different age levels. The Press Intervention Program is a program designed to help our teachers meet the needs of targeted students who need more help in specific literacy skills. As part of these resources, professional development will be provided to our teachers to help them in the implementation of these programs. Abby will speak on that later. So how do we know what students need what help? Multiple forms of assessment will be used throughout the next 3 years: formative, summative, and diagnostic. Formative assessment is ongoing assessment that is conducted by classroom teachers and other staff on a daily, weekly, and bi-weekly basis as determined by student need. Summative assessment can be unit tests as provided by the curriculum. These check student knowledge of multiple concepts over an extended period of time. Most unit assessments occur every 3 to 6 weeks. Another form of summative assessment would be our use of Iowa assessments, which is based on specific standards throughout the U.S. and given only one time a year. Diagnostic assessment, the QRI-6, is used to help identify students who may need more intensive services in an individual or small group setting. These services would go beyond the core instruction in the classroom. Now that students have been assessed in multiple ways, we will use that data to help determine the type of instruction the student needs. There will be monthly meetings of a student assistant team that will involve teacher recommendations, assessment data, and discussion about students with academics concerns in the area of literacy. Tier 1 instruction will include 90 minutes a day as a literacy block, and a 30-minute intervention time will be done school-wide every day. Students will be grouped based on data and observation by teachers into groups with others who need similar skill instruction. Tier 2 instruction will involve Title I reading and reading interventions, which will occur for 30 minutes on a daily basis, as well as meeting the needs of our English as a second language students, where they will be placed into this if they meet specific qualifications. Tier 3, if students in the Tier 2 supports are not making adequate progress, or data suggests a stagnant or decline in skills, students will be recommended for further evaluation and they may qualify for special education. As part of our implementation of literacy instruction, fidelity of instructional strategies and interventions will be done bi-monthly and as needed with teachers by the literacy specialist, as well as supports through ongoing professional development, which Abby will speak about.
After using our needs assessment data, we determined professional development goals for each year of our implementation. For year 1, our professional development will focus on guided reading instructional practices and instructional practices to support the needs of our English learners. Our teachers will also be expected to create individualized professional development plans centered on the goals to help meet the needs of the students in their classroom. That goal will carry out each of the 3 years. In year 2, our focus on professional development will be using the data-driven decision-making process to make decisions concerning student data and use for instructional planning. Our literacy specialists will also provide professional development on Tier 1 and Tier 2 instructional supports and how to implement those supports into the classroom. Finally, in year 3, our literacy specialists will provide professional development on the Tier 1 and Tier 2 strategies and how to use those supports with our newly adopted literacy curriculum.
What you see now on the screen is the budget handout that we also provided you with. As you can see, we took into account estimated costs for materials and resources, personnel costs, professional development, and assessments for each year. In the first year, our spending will go toward adoption of new curriculum, technology, which will include 10 iPads for each grade level, 1-to-1 Chromebooks for students in grades 3 to 5, and 1 Chromebook for every teacher. In the first year, we will allot $300 for every teacher to ensure an appropriate classroom environment. Furniture, including tables for small group instruction and bookshelves, will also be purchased for classrooms. An intervention program will be purchased as a one-time expense of $4,800. We've included personnel costs, which includes the literacy specialist / Title I teacher's salary, stipends for our literacy team members, and estimated substitute teacher costs. We anticipate out-of-district literacy training the first year, which we have budgeted $30,000 for. Finally, assessment costs will also be included. Our total cost for year 1 comes to $362,400. Costs for the second year are similar, with the exception that we will not have the costs for technology equipment or classroom furniture or an intervention program. Instead, the cost of our curriculum adoption for guided reading instruction is included, and professional development, including bringing someone to our school or meeting virtually to specifically train our staff on the curriculum. We will also purchase QRI-6 books for assessment purposes. With that, our second year total comes to $329,700. The only difference in our third year is the cost of curriculum adoption and the fact that we will not have to purchase the QRI-6 books again, bringing us to a total of $290,100. The grand total for our 3-year budget comes to $982,200.
We believe that this comprehensive literacy plan will provide the supports that our students need to be successful and literate citizens. If you have any further questions, feel free to ask us now or to email us with those questions and we will provide further information. Thank you so much.